everynyan. Today we are going to hell, but this time we are the big boss of hell. We are doing a female version of Hades, more specifically the Hades from the Disney classic movie Hercules. And so this is one of those cosplays that I wanted to do since I was like a tiny little baby cosplayer, but I just never got around to do it. So I was very excited when for the themed event the theme was ancient Greece because it fits the theme perfectly. So I have rewatched the movie actually while working on this cosplay, and dear Lord, Disney, what the fuck happened here? This is such an amazing and truly timeless movie. I loved it when I was a kid, and I loved it watching it as a 34-year-old immature adult. But now we're just getting slop. So anyways, let's just get into this cosplay before all of this turns into another half-hour rant about capitalism. Again. And speaking of capitalism, please subscribe. It is free and it helps me out. Thank you. Also, most of the materials today is either upcycled or something that I already had at home. So for the fabric, I'm using an old bedsheet that doesn't fit on my bed and is terribly worn out. It is not the greatest match for the dress I am doing, since this is a jersey fabric, and I would rather use literally anything else. But it is what it is. The color matches perfectly, so I'm just gonna make it work. First, I cut the elastic off so the fabric is laying flat. Then I cut out the top from the pattern I made from my measurements, and for the bottom half, I just got a big rectangular of whatever was left. And this is the only scraps that were left, so I'm very happy that I was able to use up something from the landfill pile. So I glued some interfacing on the bed sheets on the edges to help it keep better shape, since as I mentioned, the fabric does not match whatsoever, so it needs all the help it can get. For the trim part of the dress, I picked out some blue fabric I had in my stash. So I just chose an old and worn out shirt that was matching in color. I winged the pattern again and cut it out of the shirt. I cut out the pieces twice and sewed them together on the bottom side and turned that around, ironed it down so I have a very smooth line, and I can just pin it on and sew it on the top. After that, I sewed together the pattern pieces for the top part of the dress. So for the inside, I just ended up using this tablecloth that I was already cutting out for another project. So I was like, what, it's here. We sewed together all the pattern pieces for the inside. I then put together the inside and outside. I screwed up and sewed together the armholes. No, I couldn't really turn it around. I always do this. I never learn. I've been sewing for 20 years almost, and I always screw this one up. 20 years. I ripped the seam on the armhole and then I sewed all the edges together so they are not gonna be moving around. And in the next step, I am overlocking all the raw edges. The edges of the jersey fabric will not fry, so no, it's not necessary, but tablecloth is uncooperative. Also, I'm not sure why I've been completely ignoring the skirt part of the dress. But as I mentioned, it's just a giant rectangular, right? That's all it is. So not much to say there. Basically, I just gathered that on one side and then I attached it to the top part. And that's it. So I then needed to put a zipper in this. That was a big mistake. I'll figure it out later, but some spoilers for you here. The zipper. It annoyed me so much I forgot to put it in the script. Erase that memory forever. I had a grey zipper at home, but it was a very heavy duty one, like for hoodies and such. So I was like, yeah, no, I'm just gonna, cut it shorter and it's gonna be fine. Yeah, I sewed it in and after I tried it on, it gave me like a hump on the back. No, I was not happy with it, so I searched up for like if there is a quick fix, and basically it had that the length was not correct, and the fix was to make the length of the fabric shorter. So I shortened the back side again and again. And one too many times until it was all like crooked. And the hump was still there, by the way. It was just smaller, but it bothered me. So I had to even it out with the front side as well. So I made the waist a little higher and then I changed the zipper. The problem was I didn't want to buy a zipper. I didn't want to go to the store. So I took a zipper from a bag that I rushed to make. And the zipper wasn't right for the bag. I stole the zipper from there. We still have the bump, but it's very little, and it stopped bothering me since it was gonna be covered by hair. But yeah, goddamn zippers are gonna be my 13th reason why, I swear to God. Then it was time for some hand sewing. I just needed to close the armhole, so after I overlocked the edges, I just hand sewed it since, I didn't want to have a seam on there. And my cat, where there is a task requiring 0 cats, of course. But she's very cute, so it's okay. You can destroy all my earthly possessions and I still cannot get mad at you. Then it's time for painting the details on the dress. So usually I don't do paint on fabric. I feel like it's very hard to get very smooth and nice edges. No, like I can get them with sewing. So I was thinking about making like an application or like whatever. So I think if I made like the application, like the cutout application part in like the early stages of the cosplay, I could actually just hide all the mess between like the two blue pattern pieces. Unfortunately, I thought of that as I was writing the script, so we'll get them next time, partner. Please just subscribe, okay? I've been going through it. So another reason I chose to paint, which is outside of my usual go-to, is since this is a Disney cartoon character. I try to still keep some of the childlike whimsy, and I also kept the design simpler, so the mistakes of the paint are much more forgiving in this scenario. And like I mentioned, since I don't use paint on fabric often, that would of course mean I need more practice. So again, this cosplay was perfect for it because it was very forgiving of many mistakes that I made. So I just used acrylic paint and textile medium and I just winged it. Yep, I hope this is in the middle. So I painted the triangles to imitate the details in the movie, and I needed 2 layers for good coverage. So now we're moving on to the skull ornament. No, it's so cute. Just look at him. He's so upset. Oh my god. So I started with the basic shape and I cut it out twice from the EVA foam. And then I also cut out like the top part again, and I just glued this all together. When this was glued, I did a rough shape with the box cutters, and then I used clay foam to make a nice finish of the shape on the skull. I did few rounds of sanding and smoothing, and then I painted on the base paint to see if there are any bumps and unevenness, since no, I can't see anything with it being like 30 different colors. I hear sirens. Don't worry, it's not the cops. I live next to a fire station. So after I had a coat of even color, I smoothed it out again with my quickie fix type of glue. Then I did one more round of sanding and I put down 2 layers of base color to get a good coverage. After that I made details with a darker color and I did some highlights with the airbrush. I applied varnish and I glued a piece of fabric on the back so I can attach it to the dress. I did little cuts on the back to make a surface rough, and that will help with gluing the fabric on. So that's it for the little skull body, and now it's time to assemble everything into the finished dress. So the last piece is to overlock a piece of black chiffon fabric, and then I put the dress on the dress form and I started draping. Yeah, finally some fun in this cosplay. So yeah, this was the fun part of the cosplay. I don't do a lot of draping, so I was very excited about this. It's a very fun and easy way to make interesting and soft shapes. I also chose this since ancient Greeks also had drapings. And since this is where the cartoon does take place, I thought it would be nice to take some inspiration from real life. So once I draped into the shape that I liked, I started to remove the pins and hand sewing the chiffon on the dress. When I was done with hand sewing the draping, I also hand sewed on the skull. And we're just gonna watch a clip of this because this took quite a while. Now all that is left is to apply body paint, and that was a process. So here are some snippets. I unfortunately don't have room for my tripod in my bedroom. That's why there are never any makeup videos. But with that, the cosplay is done. I also got a new tripod, so maybe we'll get some bedroom pictures now. And after the body paint was done, I put on my little wig and I went to the ancient Greek themed event. So here is the thing about these events. There is a little costume competition, which I really liked, but it has lately become less about the crafting and creativity, but more of a popularity contest with the changes that they're making. And you know what? I have 2 friends. Ain't no way I'm winning a popularity contest, okay? So I will no longer be participating in this contest, because honestly, it's really not fun to enter a contest that that you cannot win. Or is that just me? I hear that I am apparently very competitive. I don't know about that. No, I'm kidding. Yes, I am, okay? So what? You can see on my face here how much I love what is happening right now. No, what do you mean competitive? I know, but other than that, I had fun hanging out with my friends, but I was a little bummed out about the contest. And by little, I mean a lot. That was a lot. So from now on, I will instead be focusing on costumes to make for the photo shooting, which is what me and my photographer also did for this one. So yeah, here it is. I haven't done it yet. I'm doing it week after this this footage, but yeah, doing a little time traveling. Finally, it's time for my favorite time, which is the photo shooting. Me and my photographer went to the old Emona wall, which was Ljubljana in the Roman Empire. We had like pillars and shit. No, not quite Greek, but it's close enough. So, we went on a holiday since we had off from work, and we were then bothering a family having a nice holiday picnic while I was scaling the historic wall in platforms. I am incredibly happy with how the pictures turned out. They are amazing, and we really did a great job, I think. We then changed locations to Križanke to get more pillars, but it was closed, so we couldn't get to them, and we decided to take some footage in this wall. And I love this one. It's so funny to do. The people were staring, but yeah, it is what it is. Okay, so this is gonna be it for this video. Like and subscribe for more of whatever the fuck I'm even doing. Please help me out. Anyways, yeah, this is gonna be it for this one, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.